President Obama's efforts to cool the controversy over the arrest of black scholar Henry Gates seem to be working.
I could have calibrated those words differently.
Last night, Gates accepted Mr. Obama's invitation to share a beer with Sergeant James Crowley, the white officer who arrested him for disorderly conduct at his home in Cambridge last week. Crowley was responding to a 911 call from a neighbor who reported a possible break-in.
He needed to greet me with respect, not presume that I'm the perp, as they say on television.
What happened here at Gates' home has placed a national spotlight on how law enforcement is trained to handle difficult confrontations. And police officers say there are few situations more complicated to handle than disorderly conduct. A catch-all charge for minor offenses, the disorderly conduct charge against Gates for loud behavior in a public place was dropped. Much of law enforcement training involves learning how to diffuse such situations, a balance between showing a thick skin without appearing weak.
The hallmark of a good officer is to be able to take control of the situation without the person feeling that they're being overpowered or disenfranchised.
According to the police report, when Crowley asked to speak to Gates outside, Gates responded, "I'll speak with your mama outside." Criminal justice expert James Fox says police are trained to initially ignore personal attacks.
We can't make cops into robots, but you certainly can train them to deal far more effectively with volatile situations and not react to their own emotional states.
The incident at Gates' home with an open door that led onto the porch reportedly drew a crowd, which may have also contributed to the arrest.
Police officers have to be aware not just of the person with whom they're dealing, but also the surrounding situation.
In recent years, law enforcement has focused on community policing, which promotes interacting with the public. Jeff?
Bianca, we've heard Professor Gates accept this invitation to the White House for a beer. Have we heard from Sergeant Crowley on that now?
Well, President Obama extended that invitation to Sergeant Crowley as well, and we're told that if he receives a formal invitation from the White House, he will gladly accept as well. Jeff?
All right, Bianca Solorzano in Cambridge. Bianca, thank you. To help us now put the Gates controversy and the rest of the week in focus, we're joined in Washington by Chief White House correspondent Chip Reid. Chip, you were in the room when the president made this surprise appearance. How effective do you think his words were?
Well, I think they were quite effective. I think this is exactly what he needed to do. If there's anybody who could tamp down a controversy over race, President Obama is the one who can do it. He's done it before. He wanted to accomplish a number of different things here. First, he wants to get the attention back on health care. Secondly, he wants to get some constituencies that were really antagonized by this back on his side, police and some of those conservative and moderate Democrats and independents who don't want to see him as the black president. They want to see him as the president. And of course, he has gone out of his way all through the campaign and his presidency to be perceived in that way as the president, not the black president.
Let's talk about health care, because the president joked about it, but it truly has drawn attention away from that debate. So where does the health care debate stand right now?
Well, it's a bit of a mess on Capitol Hill right now. The Senate has already said, Harry Reid, the majority leader, has said they're not going to vote on it before they go away for the August recess. And what that has done is just opened up the debate even more and put just about everything back on the table, some things they thought had been discarded. And on the House side, they are at the point where they're accusing each other of being liars. And I'm talking about Democrats. Henry Waxman, the chairman of a key committee, and some of the Blue Dog Democrats were really going at each other on Friday, and we'll see if they can work something out. But at this point, it's looking increasingly unlikely that they will be able to see eye to eye here. And without the Blue Dogs, it's hard to see how they get this thing through the House. So they're going to have to simmer down a bit, go home over August. The president plans to campaign aggressively even during August and come back in September and try to put the pieces back together. Jeff?
I'm sure we'll be talking about this a lot more. Our Chief White House correspondent Chip Reid joining us from Washington. Chip, thank you.
My pleasure.